regeneration, right? Sorry. Concept of mean temperature of heat addition. Now we are going to discuss regeneration. Uh, in yesterday's class, we have discussed one problem, right? We will continue that in offline class itself, and now we will go with the theory part. In this regeneration, mostly we are going to have why we are going to use this regeneration. Yesterday in online class, when I have taken online class, then I have told you these are the two methods which are going to discuss in detail of regeneration and reheating, and these are also the methods to improve efficiency, Rankine efficiency, but these two are not in our syllabus, so that's why we are going to discuss regeneration and reheating. Other name for regeneration is regenerative feed heating method. Why we will call that, I will tell you. First of all, same. What is the general procedure from boiler? The heat is going to be developed for the steam. That means there will be phase transformation at constant pressure given to the turbine, and at turbine there will be some work done given to the condenser pump. There will be phase change at the condenser again to liquid. That liquid sent to the pump, and the pump will energize the liquid to or feed to the boiler. And in between, if we follow this general procedure, what happens? If we follow this general procedure, the whole thing here, we are whatever we are going to get. Minute please. In general, the turbine here in regenerator, we are going to use feed heaters. In general thing, what we get was the whatever the efficiency we are going to get, that was going to be reduced. So what we are going to do now by using some other process, or either by adding heat at the boiler or by removing heat temperature at the condenser, we can improve the efficiency. So what we are doing to improve the efficiency, we are going to add heat at the boiler. That means before giving water to the boiler, we are going to reheat whatever the liquid from here from pump is there. We are not going to send directly that to the boiler. So that's why what we are going to do here, we are going to heat that liquid. After heating that liquid, we are going to send that boiler. So the criteria, whatever the statement we have given to improve the efficiency, we need to give, or we need to increase the temperature at which heat is going to be supplied, right? So in boiler, we are going to supply heat. So before getting into the boiler, we are going to increase the temperature of water with the help of these feed heaters. And how we are going to give this heat to this feed heater? With the help of turbine only. So the whatever the power required to run these feed heaters are there, that can be taken from this turbine itself. Some of the gas is going to be expanded here, and whatever the expanded gas is there, that has been extracted after some expansion, and it has been used for the water to raise its temperature. At the same way, if, there will be low pressure heater, and with this in this low pressure heater also, after some other expansion, we are going to extract steam, and again we are going to use that steam, such certain amount of steam to heat liquid in this feed heater with the help of this hot steam. So in that way, we are going to raise the temperature of water before feeding that to the boiler. Okay. So this is what regeneration means. Okay. Generally, we are going to have several kinds of turbines, like medium pressure turbines and high pressure turbines and critical pressure turbines. Here, for medium pressure turbines, we will use some 2 to 3 feed heaters. Not more than 3 feed heaters can be used. And for high pressure turbines, we will go for 5 to 7. And for critical pressure turbines, we will go with that means the number of turbines, the number of feed heaters we are going to use. Okay. So for medium, we are going to use not more than 3. That means up to 2 to 3. And for high pressure heat, high pressure turbines, we will go with some 5 to 7. Okay, 5 to 7 feed heaters can be used. And here within the diagram, we have used only two. That means it comes under the turbine which we have used. That is going to be medium pressure turbine, right? And after that, for critical pressure, whenever the pressures are going to be above 250 degrees centigrade, then we have to use 7 to 9. Okay, 7 to 9 feed heaters we need to use. Okay, that means the amount of pressure that has been achieved in the turbine is going to be decided with the number of feed heaters. If the pressure goes on increasing, then the number of feed heaters to be accommodated should be more here. So that's why it depends. The number of feed heaters depends upon the type of pressurized turbine we are going to use, right? So that that's what will be number of feed heaters. Okay, so if there are two feed heaters, then we will call one as a low pressure heater and the other as high pressure heater. That is what regeneration means. And depending upon the pressure developed in the turbine, we are going to use, or we are going to change the number of feed heaters here. So that's what here we are going to use regeneration. Why we are going to call regeneration? Why? Because we are extracting the steam. What here already steam has been generated, and we are going to expand that steam. And the same steam, whatever has expanded in the turbine, that has been taken to heat the feed heater. That's why we are going to call regeneration. We are going to use the expanded steam again within this feed heater. That's why we are going to call this as regeneration, right? And after that, we are going to have in regeneration, we are going to have we are also going to call this as feed heating. Regeneration, feed heating. Why we are going to call this as feed heating, regeneration, feed heater? Why? Because to feed the boiler, we are going to use some heater here. So that's why nothing but to before giving water directly to the pump, to the boiler from the pump, we are going to use some feed heaters. Okay, these low pressure heater and high pressure heaters are called as feed heaters. Since we are going to use these such a feed heaters, why these are called feed heaters means we are going to feed the boiler after heating some of the liquid here. That's why we are going to call this as feed heaters, and the process is called regeneration feed heating method, right? So I hope you got some idea on this. And now I will go with in-depth in-depth of it. So first of all, there will be a boiler as like in Rankine cycle, and we are going to use some of the superheater that means to achieve some critical pressures, to achieve some critical pressures and temperatures. Suppose at the boiler, if the pressure is going to be some 60 bar, and temperature is going to be 400 degrees centigrade, then if we want to achieve more temperatures, then we need to go for for suppose if we want the turbine, if you want the turbine inlet as 45 bar and 300 degrees centigrade or 400 degrees centigrade, then whatever the output from boiler is not going to be that much. So that's why we are going to use superheater here. With the help of superheater, whatever the steam has been coming from the boiler is there, that has been heated. Okay, so that's why we are going to use superheater. And after that, we are going to send that to the turbine here. And we already know at turbine we are going to get some work output. And here, see, here we are going to send for suppose if we are going to send 1 kg of mass to the turbine, and to uh, to generate heat or to utilize or to increase the temperature of water taken from the pump, we are going to utilize some m1 kg of steam. Okay, let m1 kg from 1 kg of steam, let m1 kg of steam has been taken after expansion within the turbine from 1 kg of steam. So what it will become, what so one m1 kg of steam has been extracted to utilize, right? So how much amount of steam here we are going to have after this extraction? We are going to have this 1 minus m1. Why? Because here m1 kg of steam, from 1 kg of steam has been extracted. So how much we are left with? Only we are left with 1 minus m1 kg of steam. Again, to heat this, again to utilize or to raise the temperature of liquid within this low pressure heater, we are going to extract again M2 kg of steam. M2 kg of steam again we are going to extract to utilize for low pressure heater. So amount of how much amount of steam has been left here now? Here here we have only 1 minus m1, and again we have in that within that 1 minus m1 I have extracted m2 kg of steam. So finally how much I am going to have? 1 minus m1 minus m2 kg of steam I am going to have. After that after doing some work, okay, at turbine what will be there? Some work output is going to be there. We can use that for any purpose. Mostly we will use for generator, generating electricity. In steam power plants we are going to use now. So that's why we will connect generator here, and there will be some work output, right? And after that here how much amount of steam is going to get into the condenser? This much amount, 1 minus m1 minus m2 kg of steam is going to get into the condenser, and there will be some phase change here because of heat transfer from in between steam and water from a cooling tower. There will be some heat transfer within the condenser, and there will be phase change at constant pressure, right? So if there is any phase change here, that means here it is going to be steam, and at condenser we are going to achieve liquid form, and that liquid is sent to the pump here. So here how much amount of the steam we are going to have? Sorry, liquid 1 minus m1 minus m2 kg of steam we are going water we are going to have. And again since what is the main purpose of using regenerator? Nothing but whatever the liquid we are going to have from the pump, that should be uh, that we need to increase the temperature. So that's why we are going to use feed heaters, right? So and here 1 minus m1 minus m2 kg of steam is getting into the low pressure heater here. So there will be indirect contact. There will be indirect contact of this water from this pump, and the steam which we have extracted from the turbine is there, that will be using that m2 kg of steam is used to raise the temperature of liquid here. After transfer of the heat, there will be some raise in temperature that is sent, that is going to be the outlet of this that means we are going to have 1 minus m1 minus m2 kg of steam uh, at the outlet of this. And again we are going to add, okay, here there is heat transfer between steam and liquid. So whenever there is some heat exchange between liquid and water, this steam is again going to become liquid here, okay. This steam, by using some condenser or anything else, okay, we can use condenser here by providing some other cooling system. So this m2 kg of steam which is in steam form and somewhat reduced its temperature. Why? Because here some of the heat is going to be absorbed by the water from the steam, right? So here again, by using condenser or anything, we will again convert that m2 kg of mass, m2 kg of steam to water here. And again, we will add that directly to the 1 minus m1 minus m2 kg of steam. So I am adding again m2 kg of steam to this 1 minus m1 minus m2 kg of steam. So minus m2 plus m2 will get cancelled, and how much steam we are left with? 1 minus m1 kg is going to be here. Okay. After adding this m2 kg of steam to this amount of steam, we are going to have 1 minus m1 kg of steam here. Again, we have feed heater here, and again this 1 minus m1 minus m2 kg of liquid is sent into this high pressure heater, and here m1 kg of steam is going to be utilized to raise the temperature of this liquid water. So again there will be raise in temperature, and again here this m1 kg of steam is by using some of the condenser, we are again changing that whatever the steam has been extracted now, that steam we are again changing to we are again converting that to liquid here. Once we have converted that to liquid, what we are going to have again here, that 1 minus m1 is the output here now. Again we are adding that m1 kg of mass here. So how much we are left with? Again at the end of this we are going to have 1 minus m1. Again we are going to add this m1 kg of steam. So minus m1 plus m1. Finally we are going to have 1 kg of steam. So what we have observed in that, whatever the steam has been extracted after feed heaters, and definitely again whatever the input to the boiler is there, again the boiler input should be same whatever it has been extracted. Okay, whatever the output of the boiler is there, that same amount of liquid has to be given to the boiler. That is the main motto of regeneration. And if we do like this, then we are going to increase the efficiency. At the same, see, now we can raise the temperature of this liquid water, right? Once if we increase the temperature of water, then the burden or work input is going to be reduced. Once if the work input is going to be reduced, network output is nothing but work output minus work input. Now this work input value is going to reduce. So efficiency is going to increase here. Okay. So in that way, we are going to increase the efficiency of Rankine cycle with the help of regeneration method. So that is the whole regeneration method. For the same thing, I have drawn some TS diagram. First of all, we have already seen this is process 0 to 1, which is going to take place from turbine, heat supplied in the boiler from this one to this one. Okay, here 6 to 0 is the heat supplied to the boiler, and 0 to 1 is isentropic process. 0 to 1, that means since we have extracted here now, m1 kg of steam is extracted. That was taken and added here. Again, m2 kg of steam has been extracted, and we are left with 1 minus when m1 kg of steam has been extracted, we have 1 minus m1 kg, and again from that we have extracted m2 kg of steam. How much we are going to have? 1 minus m1 minus m2 kg of steam. Right here to the condenser, we are feeding with the 1 minus m1 minus m2 kg of steam, and it is going to liquefy. Okay, 3 to 4 is constant pressure, change of latent heat of liquefaction, right? The latent heat of liquefaction. That means from vapor, it is going to change the phase from liquid vapor to liquid here, right? So that's why that amount of steam has been converted in condenser here. And again, what we are going to have? Again, we are going to add here m2 kg of steam. So how much is going to be here? Since we have added that m2, we are going to be left with 1 minus m1. Again, we have added m1 kg of steam again here. So we are going to have again 1 kg of steam. So that 1 kg of steam has been circulated. And due to extraction, the amount of steam has been reduced after expansion. Okay. So in that way, we are going to utilize the waste heat also here. Whatever the leftover steam is going to be there, that we are going to utilize to heat the water to feed the boiler, so that we can reduce the amount of work to be given to the boiler. In that way, we are going to improve the efficiency of Rankine cycle. So this is the TS diagram for the regeneration cycle. This diagram is very much important diagram. You need to know definitely. And this is some calculation. We are going to calculate efficiency for this regeneration cycle. While doing problems, you come to know how much energy difference, how much efficiency difference is going to be there by using regeneration as well as for reheating. We will see while doing problem. You come to know how much difference is going to be there. Okay. So for now, just go with the theoretical part. So here, let us consider m1 kg of mass has been extracted from or has been given to the high pressure heater. So this is nothing but M1 is nothing but kg of high pressure steam per kg of steam flow, and M2 is nothing but kg of low pressure steam extracted per kg of steam flow. Okay, that is from 1 kg of steam we have extracted some M2 kg of steam. Okay, so finally how much steam we are left with? This much amount of steam. 1 minus, that means 1 minus m1 minus m2 kg of steam is going to enter the condenser, okay, per kg of steam flow. Now, as like in Rankine cycle, apply steady flow energy equation or heat balance equation for low pressure heater and high pressure heater. So first of all, we will go with high pressure heater. Okay, we will apply steady flow energy equation for high pressure heater. Why? Because we have already done lot of things. Apply steady flow energy equation for boiler, turbine in Rankine cycle itself. They are going to be the same. But the new things here were this high pressure heater and low pressure heater. So that's why we need to apply the heat balance equation for high pressure heater and low pressure heater. Okay, we will calculate one by one. So first of all, apply heat balance or energy balance equation for high pressure heater here. Okay, see what is the input here. What is the input? I hope you already know how to apply energy balance or heat balance. All inputs on LHS and all outputs on RHS. Okay, so here let us consider. Okay, see here for high pressure heater, what is the input this one? What is the input of this M1 kg of input is going to be there, and at the same time that that much amount of M1 kg of mass is also going to be the output at HF6. So this M1 kg into what is the input enthalpy, and at the same time what is the output enthalpy, H1 minus HF6, right? This is the input enthalpy H1, and HF6 is the output enthalpy for M1 kg of steam. Okay, for this we need to consider how much here we are going to have. HF6 we are going to have here. Okay, so that's why M1 of H1 minus HF6. And what is output here? Output, how much kg of steam we are going to get as output here? 1 minus M1. Okay, 1 minus M1 kg of, what is the enthalpy here? HF6 here. Okay, HF6. And what is the input to this? If you see, this is 1 minus M1 kg of is also going to be the input. So now it will become 1 minus on LHS now. This 1 minus M1 kg of, what is the enthalpy for this? Enthalpy for this is H5. Okay, so this 1 minus M1. Okay, this whole thing 1 minus M1 kg of HF5, 1 minus M1 into HF5. If we get back to this side, what it will become? Minus. So I have taken 1 minus M1 as common and HF5 inside the bracket. So it will become like this. See what I have written, 1 minus M1 into HF6 minus HF5. Okay. So in that way, we are going to apply steady flow energy equation. That means this 1 minus M1 term from input, we have converted or we have taken that to RHS from LHS. Here it was plus here, and when since we have converted or taken that to RHS, it will become minus here. Okay, HF6. I have taken this as the 1 minus M1 as common, so that I am going to have this as 1 minus M1 into HF6 minus HF5. Now take all M1 terms to the LHS. Okay, so here multiply this with 1. How much we are going to have? HF6 minus HF5 minus of M1 into HF6 minus HF5. Now this M1 term, whatever the M1 term is there now, you take that to LHS. So it will become plus M1 into HF6 minus HF5, right? So if we take M1 as common, it will be like this, H1 minus HF6 plus HF6 minus HF5. So now this HF6 minus and HF6 plus are going to get cancelled. Finally, we are left with H1 minus H5. Now this H1 minus H5 has taken to this side, right hand side. So it will become, here it is multiplication and it will become denominator, dividend. So it will become HF6 H minus HF5 by H1 minus HF5. Okay. In that way, we are going to find out M1. At the same time, we are going to find out M2. Okay. We should know amount of mass has been extracted from the steam. So for that also, we need to apply some heat balance equation. Why we are going to find out M1 and M2? Why? Because if we want to find out efficiency, we need to know how much steam has been extracted from the turbine. For this, that means M1 also we should know, M2 also we should know. Only if we know M1 and M2, the amount of steam which we have extracted, then only we can know how much efficiency we can get, right? Why? Because those are the main things which are going to show us the amount of efficiency within the regeneration cycle. So now we need to find out M2 again, right? So here energy or heat balance equation for low pressure heater. For this heater we have done, and now we will do for low pressure heater. At the same time, we will know how much amount of steam has been extracted from the turbine has been confirmed. So here apply energy balance equation for low pressure steam. So what is input for this? What is input for this? M2. Okay. And what is enthalpy? H2. And what is output at the same time for M2 kg for this? Okay. This M2 is output now at the same time. What is the output? HF5. Okay, so this is M2 into H2 minus this H2 minus this for this one HF5. Okay, that has been clear, right? Now, what is the output we are going to have? What is the output we are going to have here? This one. Okay, 1 minus M1 minus M2 kg of output we are going to have. Okay, and what is for output? What is the enthalpy here? We have HF5, and what is input? Okay, actually this again the same term. It should be here 1 minus M1 minus M2 is going to be the input for this low pressure heater. See this from here we are going to get this 1 minus M1 minus M2 kg of steam as input for this low pressure heater into how much this is HF3. Okay, whatever the liquid here we have, that the same here we are going to have, right? In this way we are going to have. But here we, since we have this 1 minus M1 minus M2 on RHS, we directly take in that to RHS. So this plus HF3 will become minus HF3. So whenever we take this 1 minus M1 minus M2 as common, we will get HF5 minus HF3. Okay. So we got this equation like that. And now here, since we need to know M2 thing, let's get this M2 value to LHS. Okay. This 1 minus M1 into HF5 minus HF3 minus of M2 into HF5 minus, how will it become? Okay. This equation is can be written as 1 minus M1 into HF5 minus HF3. At the same time, this term is also there now, minus M2 into this term HF5 minus HF3, right? So this M2 term I have taken to RHS and I have taken M2 as common, right? So if I have taken M2 as common, what I will have H2 minus HF5, and I have here HF5 minus HF3. So this minus HF5 and plus HF5 will get cancelled, and how much I am left with H2 minus HF3, right? So now this equation will become 1 minus M1 of HF5 minus HF3 by this these two get cancelled now. What we are left with H2 minus HF3. This multiplication of M2 will get to RHS means that is going to be a divided. Okay, so 1 minus M1 N1 into HF5 minus HF3 by H2 into HF3. So we already know M1 value. Okay, we have already found out some. We have already found out how much amount of steam has been extracted here from here. So by simply substituting M1 kg of steam here, we can know directly the M2 value. So that the amount of steam which we have extracted from the turbine after expansion has been known. Now, if we know how much amount of steam has been extracted, we directly go for efficiency. Why? Because here efficiency is nothing but work done by heat supplied. Okay. So before going to calculate work done by heat supplied, first of all, we know what is heat supplied and what is work done. Okay. So heat supplied is this one. In Rankine cycle itself, we already know. Okay. Heat supplied is nothing but H0 minus H6. Okay. Since here it is going to be in liquid form, we will take H0 minus HF6. Okay, so heat supplied has got. Now we need to know isentropic work done, right? Here, what is isentropic work done? Isentropic work done is from diagram itself we can find out. Okay, we have two methods to find out isentropic work done. One is by using total inputs. Okay, one is by using total inputs, or else we will go partially. We will go partially. I will let you know. One thing is if I have taken the extracted things, first of all, I have extracted m1 kg of mass. Then what is the enthalpy difference? H. So m1 into h naught minus h1. And how much I have extracted here? M2 kg of steam has been extracted. So from the whole steam. So that's why m1 this m2 into h naught minus h2. Okay, this m2 into h naught minus h2. Again, how much I am left with at condenser? How much I am left with? 1 minus m1 minus m2 kg of steam I am left with. So this has taken, and the whole thing, the whole difference in between enthalpies from start to the end of the condenser is H naught minus H3. Okay, that is one way to calculate isentropic work done. Otherwise, I will go with partial things also. Okay, so I have, first of all, I have 1 kg of mass, and within this, okay, 1 kg of mass, and here it is H naught minus H1. Now this one, 1 minus m1, if I had taken 1 minus m1 kg of mass, then the enthalpies are going to be h1 minus h2 plus this one, 1 minus m1 minus m2 kg of mass into h2 minus h3. Okay, I hope you understand. Okay, if we have taken partially, this is going to be 1 kg of mass into h naught minus h1. If I have taken the amount of steam here, 1 minus m1, then the difference of these two, h1 and h2. Okay, and 1 minus m1 of h1 minus h2. Okay. If I have taken this much amount of steam, then what is the enthalpy difference for this amount of steam? And 1 minus m1 minus m2 of steam has been taken, and what is the enthalpy difference in between these partial things? H2 minus H3. Okay, that's what here we have written. We can take anything, no problem. You can substitute instead of this formula, you can substitute this also. Here he has used this one. You can also use this one, no problem. You can use whatever the formula you want. You can utilize anything for isothermal work done. Okay, right. In that way, we have known work done here. So we can substitute either this or this. So in textbook, he has substituted this one. So m1 of h naught minus h1 plus m2 of h naught minus h2 plus 1 minus m1 minus h2. Sorry, m1 minus m2 of h naught minus h3 by heat supplied. We have already found out h naught minus hfc. So in that way, we are going to calculate thermal efficiency